right. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to America's Voice Now. My name is Michael Evans. I'm the host here, and I'm happy to be with you today. TGIF. And it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week all the way around. We're going to address this issue of Hillary this morning because she came out the other day and made a statement that was tailor-made for her in typical disingenuous fashion by the, this is the principle of the softball. This is the principle of we've never seen Barack Obama have a serious interview. We've never seen Hillary Clinton have a serious interview. They've never been challenged on camera to explain or defend their positioning. And on Thursday, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was asked, if you could change the outcome of any event that occurred while you were Secretary of State, what would it be? That was teed up for her in a way that, you ever see T-ball? T-ball is, if you're not familiar, T-ball is like a little league baseball game. And in order to get these little guys and girls started properly, because they can't hit a pitch because they just don't have the hand-eye coordination and the muscle, control, they actually have this like post that stands up, and they place the ball on the post, kind of like a gigantic, tall, tee, golf tee, right? And the ball sits right on top of the post, and basically they swing the bat at a ball that's still and unmoving, which, of course, makes it easy to hit the ball. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Eric Holder, John Boehner, John McCain, none of these people, none of them are challenged by the media. Every one of them is given a T-ball setup for every interview they do. And frankly, as an American, I am sick to death of it. Her answer, it would certainly be the attack on our facility in Benghazi and the loss of 2 State Department personnel and 2 CIA contractors from the terrorist attack and the terrible consequences to that. Well, you'll notice that she makes sure she uses the word terrorist attack because she needs to distance herself from Barack Hussein Obama and his love of al-Qaeda. But more importantly, she's giving herself political cover in time for 2016. Because the truth of the matter is, as I covered for you yesterday, the real issue of Benghazi was that we were doing an arms deal, a gun-running deal for al-Qaeda. And we knew empirically, and we knew beyond a reasonable or even a shadow of a doubt that those arms, which were being imported into Libya with the intention of going to Gaddafi, were going to be redirected to al-Qaeda. The Pentagon knew it. Hillary Clinton knew it. Barack Obama and the White House knew it. And I gave you the proof yesterday in yesterday's episode. I looked at our YouTube views this morning. I think that one only got, 100 views. America, it was a clear and open example of treason. Right on cue to clean up her legacy for the 2016 election cycle, Traitor Hillary states her regrets. The only problem is that she could have avoided the entire issue by not aiding and abetting a sworn enemy of the United States of America, by not participating in a gun-running deal with our sworn enemy, al-Qaeda. This administration and their consistent and continued ineptitude, their bungling, their Keystone coppery, and her inability to manage the slightest functions of responsibility and the power that they've been, well, that frankly they've usurped, is the real problem here. They can't even do treason right. The truth is, Ms. Clinton, you can't walk back treason. You can't walk back treason, Hillary. Sorry. Your apologies and your regrets are not accepted, and you are dishonorably discharged from service. Now and forevermore. We reject you. We reject your excuses. We reject your politics, your ideology. We reject your lies. We reject your treason. We, a nation, the consent of the governed, reject you. Oh, sure, there's plenty of sycophants out there who will just vote for you because you're Hillary. Because the legacy of your husband, which was laden with lies and betrayal of his own, not only of the American people, but even of you. The truth is, you don't regret anything other than being caught in your own web and your own intrigue and your own lies. We, the American people, are sick to death of the lot of you. We're tired of being played. We're tired of being pawns. Nothing is worth what you have done to this nation. Nothing. You see, Ms. Clinton, the truth of the matter is that we don't really believe that you, at any point in time, had the best interests of America at heart. And I look at you and I say, what is that worth to you? I would turn around and I would give you Patrick Henry's statement and say, what is it that Hillary wishes? What is it that Hillary would have? Is life so dear? Is power so sweet? Is wealth so much, so important to you that you would betray your own countrymen to have it? That you would purchase it at the price of chains and slavery for us, and at the price of whatever comes for people like you on the other side? Those people who wage war against their own countrymen, those people who wage war, whether it be a war of words or a war of betrayal against their own people, there has to be a special penalty for you. The truth is, you accomplished nothing as the Secretary of State. You flew around. You had a carbon footprint the size of Alaska for all your global warming cry. You bungled the Middle Eastern peace talks, which every president before you and every Secretary of State before you has bungled. You took direction from a man you knew to be a tyrant, who you, in fact, personally detest, and who, frankly, detests you. Not over ideology, just over personality, because two big heads like that can't fit into the same room. Unfortunately, your goals are the same. The subjugation and the enslavement of America for the benefit of a chosen few, a small oligarchy of tyrants. And you make us sick. You make my stomach churn, and that of millions upon millions of other Americans. Not because you're a woman, not because you are the president's or were the president's first lady, not because you tried to get Obamacare or your version of universal health care shoved down our throats a decade ago, because you're an ideologue, because you put power and money before the lives of millions upon tens of hundreds of millions of your fellow citizens. Because you're interested more in power and you're interested more in money and fame and fortune and the layers of fawning, minions around you. Your self-esteem is so shallow and so weak that you need others around you to tell you how wonderful you are, Hillary. Because your own husband has rejected you. Your grasp for power, your willingness to pay any price for some mild earthly gain is detestable. You've been playing this same conniving game for as long as you've been in the public eye. From the days of college, you've been playing this same dirty, conniving, corruption-laden game. Hillary Clinton, you have the stench of death about you. You have the stench of corruption, a rotting corpse. And you've saddled this nation with it for long enough. Do us all a favor and don't run again. We really don't need you. You and your kind, who would sit there and willingly side, aid, and abet a sworn enemy of the United States of America, who's responsible for killing 3,000 people within our own borders and literally thousands of our soldiers. You should be ashamed to show your face. You should be labeled dishonorably discharged, stripped of your assets, stripped of your wealth, stripped of your power, and exiled from our presence. You have no place here. You willfully, knowingly, maliciously assisted and participated in that most evil of things, the betrayal of your own people. How dare you? How dare you? And then use the opportunity that the fawning press gives you to smack a home run and pretend it's actually yours when the ball was very still in the first place. The money's not enough, Hill. I guess. Is that it? I mean, you and your husband have tens of millions of dollars worth of assets. You can live like kings and queens. But that's not enough to assuage your deep sense, your deep lack of self-esteem. Whatever it is that has its hooks in you, Hillary, please don't subject us to it any longer. It's like a smell that just, it's an aura about you. an aura of corruption. The corruption of death. The putrid stench. Everything that you've touched, everything that you and your husband, quite frankly, have touched has resulted in harm to this nation. We don't need your kind. We don't need what you have to offer. What you have to offer is benefits for a chosen few, paid for with the blood and the sweat and the few scraps that the vast majority of this nation can possibly pull together. You steal from the mouths of children to feed your fat cronies, their greasy, sweaty, slimy maw, gobbling down that which is never theirs in the first place. We're okay with free markets. We're okay with free enterprise. Monopolies only exist at the hands of government. And you and your cronies, you choose who will win. And you choose who will lose. Oh, I'm sure if you or your supporters hear this, that I'll pay the price. Because I know that you're vindictive. How many have died with the name Clinton on their lips? How many, Hill? You know the real numbers. Somewhere, somehow, someday, you're going to have to answer for all of that. And whether you believe in karma or you believe in a God that will demand that you stand up and repent, that price will be awful. You admit regret for the terrible consequences of Benghazi. But these were consequences that you could have easily avoided. But your mad rush to have power, your mad rush to ascend to the throne, overrode all concern, overrode all loyalty, responsibility, your honor, your dignity, your integrity. Your love of money and your love of power have turned you into something that's not even human. You are an active participant in an act of treason against your own nation. And for that, there is no forgiveness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, if you believe that Hillary and people like Barack Obama, John Boehner, John McCain, if you believe these people actually represent you, they all have that stench of death and corruption. It hangs about them like a cloud. Everything they touch, they leave the marks. They leave that slime behind. Eric Holder, diametrically opposed to everything that this nation was ever based and founded upon. An ideologue without measure. These people, they are shameless and they feel no remorse, no regret. They have zero sympathy and even less empathy for you. And that is the hallmark of someone who, truthfully, should not be in our presence. You're going to see an election in 2014, this coming November, and in 2016. And the goal of every American should be to fire each and every person within the oligarchy, thousands of them, remove them. Oh, I recognize that there are places where you only have two options, the lesser of two evils. With all due respect, continuing to choose the nicer of your murderers does not free them of your murder. You know, if I have two assailants and one promises to shoot me and the other promises to cut me with a knife, and I fear that knife more by saying I'd rather have him kill me than you kill me, is the end result any different for me? It's time for this nation to stand up. It's time for this nation to recognize that what we have is unacceptable, and that this is no longer a nation run by the consent of the governed. That what we have now is an oligarchy. That's not me saying that. That's Princeton University. That's Northwestern University. That's the best and brightest and most brilliant minds from our founders themselves. You can look at their words and apply them and label them on these people and not skip a beat. None of them are worthy. Not one. You've been listening to America's Voice Now. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to give you some local spots for my local advertisers here on our radio broadcasting. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. Stick with us. You're listening to America's Voice Now. You can catch me live on our website at americasvoicenow.org. If you're watching that now, give us about 2 or 3 minutes and then hit the play button and we'll come back on.